Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and also my creative life. So it is Saturday in March 2025, and this is the second project of my challenge of using my Sidekick, and some dies. These are dies that I have not used at all, and you can tell because I'm really struggling to get them off that double-sided tape. Now, I realized as I was going through and putting away some dies that I haven't used a whole lot. And originally when I bought my Sizzix and some of the dies, I thought I was only going to buy dies that were so fine that sure, I could probably cut them with my Cricut, but they were so fine that it would probably be a little bit of a struggle. Well, that didn't happen. Mostly what I did is if I had stamp sets that I thought would be worth getting dies for, I purchased them as a set. And other times I just saw them as really great deals or like thrift stores, things like that. And I decided to get them that way. So anyhow, this particular one was on a clearance with Spellbinders, thank you. And it's a lighthouse. It's supposed to be a birdhouse. It's part of a series, I guess, that they had. But I thought, you know what, I can use it as a birdhouse and also just as a lighthouse. So I thought it was really cute. It had this nautical theme with some shells and some oars and obviously the lighthouse. So here I am creating it. Now I am going to be creating a card. I'm also going to be using a sketch, and I'll show that in a little bit. But right now I'm just kind of going through the process. I'm doing at least 2 of everything because I figured if I'm doing one, I may as well make 2 cards. So if you see a bunch of extras, here they are. Loving the magic of video because instead of you watching me just go through and make all these little cuts, I was able to just snap my fingers and there they were, all cut and ready to go. So I'm just putting them around like where they should be and how they should be layered. And I always like to do that first before I start putting down some adhesive, because this way it avoids me putting adhesive on the wrong sides, or sometimes I just get confused and then the adhesive dries and then I got to go through the whole thing. It's a whole thing, people. Believe me, this has helped me many a times, especially where putting adhesive on the wrong side. I do have an adhesive eraser, so it's not the end of the world, but it is a little frustrating. So I'm just cutting off some pieces from the red cut, and I actually end up doing one that the main part is white with red highlights, and then the other one is going to be red with white highlights, and you'll see later that I actually end up using a little blue on that one, so it's kind of a patriotic look. Now I'm not going to show when I make that card. I'm just going to show when I make one card because they're going to be basically the exact same thing. So again, just using my little poker tool, poking out the little details. I do notice that when you do cut 2 pieces of cardstock at a time, especially when it's thick cardstock, sometimes they get a little stuck, or it's a little bit harder to get off the dies, or in this case, the little tiny cutout pieces. But you know, you just saw how easy it was. I just used my little poker tool like I mentioned, and it just popped right out. So it no big deal. Another thing I did is, because I wasn't sure of the coloring of the shells and things, so when I cut them in white, I just used some ink and changed the color a little bit on the anchor and also the shells. So again, I just pulled out some scraps because the sketch that I'm going to be using is a great way to use scraps. I didn't want a full beach theme in the back. So there's that sketch by Sunday Stamps. And so I'll have a link in the information box to my blog, also to Sunday Stamps, and any other information that you may need will be mostly in my blog. I'll try to put as much as I can in the information box, but you can just see here, I'm just cutting strips of paper. I'm doing a sand color and some light and dark blues. And again, from my scrap pile, perfect way to use scraps. I love using scraps when I'm making cards whenever I can, because the cards are smaller. It's easier to use more scraps. And if you're like me, you got a lot of them. So I was originally going to do the card base white because I have that sand color, but I really like the natural look. I think it still looks good, and there's a contrast between the card base and that one scrap piece that I'm calling sand, because If it was the same color, I probably would have used white, but I felt like white was just too stark. Now in that sketch, if you took a really good look, there was a circle over there on that right side. I have a bag of just random shapes that I cut out, and I use it for this exact reason, for making cards where I just feel like I needs a little something. A lot of them are just predetermined shapes that I've made. I do it in black, like an off-white tan color, and also white, and I use them all the time, but there's many times where what I have already cut doesn't work. I did have a circle, but I felt like it was too big, so I decided to use this, I don't even know what it is, a pentagon shape, stop sign shape, I'll call it that. And I decided to use that instead of the circle, but it still works. And so I'm just going to go ahead and use my mat to kind of make sure that these are sort of straight. But I've mentioned before, even when I've used my T-square ruler or any other thing, nothing ever seems to be straight. So I'm not too worried about it as long as it's straight-ish. And if you notice, you can see here that the wood that's holding the birdhouse is too tall. Now I could cut it down, but I just decided to take it off. It doesn't need to be a birdhouse. It just needs to be a lighthouse at this point. Now the video I thought I was filming, I do this all the time and it makes me crazy, but basically I inked that white piece so it wasn't so stark, and I also wanted it to be more contrast with the lighthouse, so I did that with a paddle brush and some light tan, and then I drew with a black fine point pen just little stitch marks around all 3 squares, also that stop sign stop sign shape, and that was really about it as far as any addition to the card. And then I'm just stamping a little sentiment saying for you. I just wanted kind of like a basic card, and that's about it. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. I am doing this series. It's my own little challenge to use my Sidekick and also some dies, and I'm posting a new card for this month, March 2025, every Saturday. So that'll be a total of 5 cards. I'm really excited about it because, like I said, I have all these dies and I just really haven't been using them. So it gives me an opportunity to do that. So anyhow, again, I hope you like this video. Make sure you look in the information box because I'll have a link to my blog and anything else that you may need. So I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other will be whatever it is I'm creating in the command center, which is the name of my blog and also my craft room. But here's the finished card. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.